Hello and welcome to our weekly report. There aren't any major events this weekend, but plenty of smaller ones. We've got the Darings racing in the Cowes Keelboat Series, action from Contessa 32s and Sigma 33s, the start of RORC's Morgan Cup race to St Helier, and some great dinghy action as the Sprint 15s contest their National Championship in Gurnard Bay. Before we get into the action though, let me introduce you to Excalibur, our new camera rib. Excalibur will become a familiar sight as we film all the action throughout the year. So when you see us on the water, do give us a wave. As you can see, our Cowes Online branding is pretty prominent, but we've still got room for a sponsors branding. So if you want to get noticed on the Solent this year, do get in touch. But for now, let's enjoy the racing.
RORC's Morgan Cup race to St Helier got underway on Friday evening with 114 boats coming to the squadron line for the 140-mile event. A nice 18-knot southerly had just enough west in it to convince some boats that they could carry spinnakers. The 56 yachts in classes 2 and 3 led the charge east with a fair tide as they headed for the forts. The French yacht, Groupe Partouche, went on to win Class 2, taking just over 24 hours for the race and winning by 8 minutes on corrected time from another French yacht, Foggy Dew. In fact, French yachts took the top 4 places. Sipsina won the two-handed class ahead of Nick Martin's Diablo J. A French yacht won Class 3 as well, with Major Tom beating the Sigma 38 Festina Lente by 21 minutes, with another Sigma, Persephone of London, taking 3rd place. The start of classes 1, 0 and Super 0 was notable for the involvement of the Red Funnel ferry. It left Cowes just as the start gun fired, and its skipper attempted to pass ahead of the 58 yachts. There was no way the ferry was going to make it, so halfway across the fleet it stopped to allow the racing yachts to fly past on both sides. The winning run for French yachts continued in the larger classes. Class 1 was won by the J122 Penazen, while in Class 0 the winner was the first 47.7 Courrier de Coeur. Only Class Super 0 was French free, and that was won by the Dutch boat Piet Roon's Formidable 3, with Bear of Britain taking 2nd. John Shepherd's Fair Dues went on to take 3rd in Class 0.
Hi John.
The Darings were the only fleet to turn out for the weekend's round of the Cowes Keelboat Series, which was run by the Royal Yacht Squadron. Racing got underway on Saturday, with a force 5 to 6 southwesterly and a strong ebb tide kicking up a rough sea. This weekend, the Darings and Dragon classes were running a boat camp event, in which newcomers to the classes could get afloat and try out the boats. Between them, the two classes managed to get 40 new participants afloat over the weekend. The Daring's first mark was in Gurnard Bay, and the 13-boat fleet was led around by Darius. Giles Peckham's Dauntless jibed immediately to head inshore out of the tide, to get east before crossing the channel to the next mark at Williams Shipping. Defender took a more direct route and led around the first leeward mark by a whisker, but Dauntless grabbed the lead on the next beat and held it to the finish ahead of Defender and Division Bell. On Sunday, in lighter conditions and with only 7 boats racing, Defender took the win, ahead of Dynamite and Dolphin. The Sigma 33 class had a one-day regatta on Saturday, run by the Royal Corinthian Yacht Club. Jeff Warboy's workout crew were pretty confident ahead of the start of the first race, claiming they were the fastest Sigma in town, and then they went on to prove it. The force 5 to 6 made for a lumpy sea as the fleet beat west the first mark of City Main in Gurnard Bay. A crewman on Mike Wood's Odalisque was struggling to lash up stanchions and lifelines, which had been carried away. The Sigma 33s used to be the biggest class of one design cruiser racers, which raced around the Cans and offshore. Fleets of 60 or more were a common sight in Cowes, but today the fleet has declined, and this regatta sported just 11 boats. Down the first run, it was Auditrack ahead of Shadowfax and Workout, all of whom were carrying their kites without problem, while behind, half the fleet were white sailing it, and the others with kites were broaching out of control. Auditrack went on to win this race, ahead of Workout and Shadowfax. Workout won race 2, with Auditrack second and Shadowfax again in third. That gave a regatta to Workout. As they said, they're the fastest Sigma in town. From the Sigmas, we headed over to the Central Solent to catch up with the classic Contessa 32s. This design dates from 1970, and it's an enduring classic, renowned for its heavy weather performance, so the choppy Solent on Saturday afternoon wasn't bothering these pretty boats one little bit. 14 boats contested 3 races over 2 days, with racing run by the Royal London Yacht Club and with starts from a committee boat in the Central Solent. Blanco won race 1 and 3, but a 5th in this, the second race, dropped her to 2nd overall behind Ray Mitchell's English Rose. English Rose won this race, and her second in the first race and the 3rd place in the final one gave her the overall victory. The Sprint 15s were holding their National Championship at Gurnard Sailing Club this weekend, and the windy conditions on Saturday were to deliver some great action. They weren't the only ones in Gurnard Bay enjoying the breeze. A blaze was, well, blazing away, while a windsurfer and a kite sailor were also showing off their skills. Then the sprints took to the water and got ready for their 3rd race of the day. The start of this race was a bit chaotic, as some hit the line at speed, others got shut out at the pin, while one tangled with a windsurfer and another capsized. The Sprint 15 used to be called the Dart 15. It's a 15-foot, one-design catamaran with a furling jib and trapeze, and it comes alive in strong winds. 29 of them turned out for the Nationals, which were sailed over 7 races with 2 discards. Heading out on port tack on the first beat of this race, the waves grew and grew, and more than one boat capsized on this leg. At the windward mark, the boats bore away with some relief and screamed downwind. At the end of the 7 races, the top 3 places were filled by local boats. Carl Blenkinsop took 3rd place with 16 points, and in 2nd it was Lawrence Guster on 12. But the winner, 7 points clear, was Robin Leather from the Gurnard Sailing Club. Next week, we'll be covering the Round the Island race. If you're going to be one of the 1,800 strong fleet, good luck, have fun and sail safely. See you out there.